Every morning the sun rises, not with fireworks, not with thunderclaps, but with a quiet dignity. It doesn't knock on our doors or wait for applause. It just shows up, day after day, year after year, and in that gentle rhythm lies the greatest secret of all, consistency without complaint. The sun doesn't ask if the world deserves its light. It doesn't check if yesterday's efforts were appreciated. It simply arrives, faithful, constant, undeterred, and maybe that's where we begin too. Not in some grand declaration to the world, but in the stillness of our own rooms. Not with a roar, but with a whisper, a small promise to ourselves, today I will show up. The world is always talking about goals. We are taught to dream big, to chase success, to reach for the stars. But what they don't teach us is that stars are light, years away. They don't tell us that reaching anything worthwhile takes more than dreaming. It takes showing up when the dream feels cold and distant. It takes choosing your purpose even when your heart is heavy and the fire inside you is dimmed. It takes discipline. Quiet, unromantic, daily discipline. We're raised to believe success is loud. We see it in the polished speeches, in the awards clutched by trembling hands, in the social media posts gilded in filtered perfection. But success rarely starts there. No. Success begins in the mundane. In the unimpressive, in the boring moments repeated without applause. It begins when you decide to wake up 5 minutes earlier just to sit in silence with yourself. It begins when you shut off the noise, the endless scroll, and simply choose presence over distraction. It begins with one simple habit, intention. There is no lightning bolt, no magic formula, no glittering aha, moment that changes everything. What changes everything is the decision to honor your time. To stop letting your life pass in a haze of autopilot, to stop outsourcing your worth to what others think or say or expect. Success begins the moment you stop waiting to feel ready and just begin tired, scared, unsure, but error in message stream tired, scared, unsure, but you begin anyway. That is the root of all change. The beginning is always small, always fragile. Like the first sprout breaking through hardened earth, it doesn't look like much. It's easy to miss, easy to doubt, but don't mistake simplicity for insignificance. That small daily act, the habit of showing up with intention, is the seed of greatness. There's a kind of power in consistency that the world has forgotten. These days, everyone wants fast money, fast fame, fast healing, fast results. But the soul doesn't work like that. Growth doesn't work like that. Success that sticks, the kind that aligns with your spirit and not just your bank account, requires patience. It requires grit. It requires the quiet bravery of doing the same good thing over and over again until the world can't help but notice. The funny thing is, the world doesn't often celebrate these habits. No one cheers for you when you decide to get out of bed an hour earlier. There's no parade when you put your phone away and stare your fears in the face instead. No one claps when you sit down, heart heavy, and still choose to write or create or practice or plan. But these are the very acts that build the life you're dreaming of. The simple habit that creates success is this: choosing yourself daily, choosing your growth over your comfort, choosing presence over passivity, choosing action over perfection. It's not glamorous, this choice. It's not easy, but it is transformational. Because when you show up for yourself consistently, even when no one's watching, you send a message to the universe that you are serious about your life, that you are ready, that you are not just wishing for things, you are working for them. We have become experts at waiting, waiting for motivation, waiting for signs, waiting for someone to notice our potential and unlock us like a treasure chest. But what if you stopped waiting? What if the real magic was never in the grand gestures, but in the daily rituals? What if the difference between who you are and who you want to be is just one simple habit practiced over time with heart? The habit of starting, of choosing presence over procrastination, of saying, today matters, I matter. That kind of energy doesn't come from the outside. It must be built from within, And the beauty is, you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to begin. One conscious breath in the morning. One moment of stillness before the chaos. One action taken with intention. That's how mountains are moved. Not in leaps, but in layers. You may not feel like it today. That's okay. You may be exhausted, disheartened, confused. You may feel like all your effort is going unseen. But what if I told you that's part of it? What if I told you that the soil doesn't bloom the seed instantly, but that doesn't mean it's not working? The roots grow in darkness, they strengthen below the surface, and so do you. It's easy to be disciplined when life is generous, but the ones who succeed are the ones who stay disciplined when life feels cruel. When your plans fall apart, when the people you believed in walk away, when the applause dies down, that's when your habit becomes your salvation. Not because it makes things easier, but because it reminds you of who you are. When you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, something sacred happens. You begin to trust yourself again, and when you trust yourself, you stop begging the world for approval. You stop chasing trends. You stop molding yourself into a shape that pleases others. You anchor, you root, you rise. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. You don't need a flawless routine, you need a faithful one. Even if it's messy, even if it's clumsy, even if some days you falter, what matters is that you return, that you keep showing up. Because success isn't built in a day, it's built day by day. People often think confidence comes from achievement, but real confidence is born from discipline, from knowing that no matter how the storm rages outside, there is something steady within you, something unshakable, something sacred. That steadiness doesn't come from luck or talent. It comes from your habits, from how you start your mornings, from how you talk to yourself, from how you treat your time even when no one is watching. If your life feels out of control, don't try to fix everything. Just start with one habit, one daily choice to be present, one moment where you put your hand on your heart and say, I'm here, I'm not giving up. That kind of devotion, quiet, steady, relentless, is what moves the heavens. That is what opens the locked doors, and it's not always visible at first. You might not see progress, you might not get applause, you might not feel a single thing change for weeks, but keep going. Because one day, you will wake up and realize your life has transformed. Not because of one giant leap, but because of thousands of tiny steps taken with intention. There is a kind of sacred rebellion in choosing discipline in a world that chases distraction, in choosing presence in a world that numbs, in choosing patience in a world that rushes. You become the outlier, the misfit, the one who sees things others don't. You become the one who understands that success is not a destination, but a reflection of who you are becoming through your habit. This simple daily habit, choosing to begin, is the cornerstone of every break through you will ever experience. It doesn't matter how long you've been stuck. It doesn't matter who doubted you or who walked away. What matters is what you do with today, right now, in this breath. Start again and again and again, not because it's easy, but because you've realized that your life is worth it. Every time you show up for yourself, you rewrite the narrative. Every time you choose consistency over chaos, you shift the energy of your story. Every time you refuse to give up, even in silence, you are building something unshakable within you. That is the magic of this habit. It teaches you that you don't need to be rescued. You don't need to be fixed. You just need to come home to yourself, again and again, and it all begins with this. Wake up, look within, and decide, just for today, I will show up. Not for the world, not for applause, but for me, because I matter, because my life is sacred, because I am not waiting for permission to become who I already am. That decision, repeated daily, becomes a revolution. And that revolution, it starts with one habit, one choice, One moment of truth, and then everything changes. So if you remember nothing else from all these words,